Top of the whenever to my godlike collective. I am he, I am she, I am share. Look to the Bible and there you will find me. I hope this video finds most doing well. There are several things that I need to discuss. You know what? This video, I am going to address it to the United States government. Yeah. There are a bunch of downloads that I've been having lately that I need to just chew up and spit it out. And I want to speak to the government about some of the things that have been happening or that have happened, and how it's going to play out for the United States. This message comes to you from the collective. This is coming from the universe, the godlike collective, the upper realms, and the judges within the supreme courts of heaven, as well as a judge from the underworld. Yeah. So first I'm going to tell you a little bit about what has happened to me. In the past few hours, we're in December. This is Life Path 18, and this is December 2025, the end of the first calendar year portion of this Life Path 9. This Life Path 9 starts January 13th, 2025, and will commence on October 26th, 2026. So we're at the end of the first leg. This year, or this life path period, for me, at the beginning, I ended up having surgery. I had surgery on February 13th of this year, 1 full month after inauguration. And to prepare for surgery, I had to have a series of lab work to prepare for this surgery. I did have, so I had some lab work done then. And I have not, up until the last few hours, had any need for any lab work like what I prepared for surgery, or any anything like that. I think they probably took maybe 6 vials of lab work. 6 vials of samples for me to prepare for that. And that was the last time I had any lab work done that I consented to, right? Up until the last few hours. Now, in the last few hours, I had lab work done, and I had an injection taken, or the incision was on my left arm here. And I'm wondering if this was going to show. I don't know if you can see that I had this sticker taken off. You could probably see where the sticker was taken off. You're not seeing any major It's a very sunny day, but I want to show you that you're not seeing any major bruising as yet, right? I'm sorry about that. On this arm, this is where I just had the incision for this lab work done within the last few hours, right? Now, your government has been doing a lot of illegal activities because over the last year, I'm a seer, by the way. I don't know if you can figure that out from my videos, but over the last year, specifically, the conversations that are being had around my lab work has been off-putting for me and for divine workers across all realms. Because individuals that are going over my lab work do not have access to my lab work. And also, my lab work conversations are being had within the White House itself physically. And that's really, like, when I first realized that the individuals that were talking about me and talking about my lab work were not doctors, first of all, when I started sensing it, and they were individuals that were in the physical White House building, I personally was taken aback. First of all, the conversations are disturbing, but I personally was taken aback that these conversations were happening because they were discussing my lab work when I didn't have any lab work submitted in the system in the labs that I get lab work done. That was the first thing that was a red flag for me, because I didn't understand how Donald Humpty Dumpty Trumpty was talking about my labs when I had no labs to my knowledge. And then something interesting happened. Over the last few weeks, two things were done to me. Your employees, whether they are official or unofficial, cloaked, and what I realized that they were cloaking and coming into my home and taking blood work from me. It was happening before when I was being drugged. And then when I stopped taking the medication, they came in and they were putting poison in my pipes. And I do have proof of that. If you are going to investigate, do not assume that someone is crazy. How about you do the work and figure out what I am talking about? Because I am telling you, they put poisons in the pipes in my apartment, and I found that nasty shit. And they were poisoning me that way. I was wondering why I was constantly sluggish, and it has stained my teeth, whatever that was that they were putting in the water. And two of the times that they stuck me, it left a mark. They stuck me in my back and I felt it. And it was very close to my incision area, because I I had surgery. I mentioned I had surgery on my spine, and my spine is very sensitive. When they stuck me, it irritated the area where I had surgery. As a result, I ended up getting a scab on my back because I felt it and I was like, what is happening? I felt someone poke me, but there was no one here. I was by myself. I was wide awake. I was like, what the? I felt like this was the boldest bullshit one of the boldest things. Anyway, the scab fell off on Friday. The incision area is pretty small. However, they also injected me in my right arm, and that has left a mark. Whenever I get injections, after a few days, I too end up with marks. So I can tell, and I want to show this to you so that you can see here on my arm where I was injected. Here you can see the incision, and I get plugs under my skin from the blood. There's a plug. So every time I get injections, there's always a plug there for me. I have very sensitive skin. And like I said, the injection that I just got on my left arm is the first injection I had done since I prepared for surgery at the beginning of this year. I shouldn't have marks on my right arm. I shouldn't have a scab on my right arm. I shouldn't have mark on my back. I shouldn't have gotten a scab on my back. I did not consent. I do not consent. And I'm going to need you to do better, because these things are quite illegal, and the upper realms are watching you as a collective, and you are currently, I got a message for you. You are in what can be described as a rock and a hard place. This is not a threat. I'm delivering a message. There have been crimes committed against society, as well as crimes committed under your care. And there are individuals who are fully aware, and there are many who are not. One of the reasons why I also bring this up is MK Ultra. This project was supposed to end, and the court ordered it to end, and on paper it did, but that is not the reality. There are hundreds, I am sensing, of individuals that are still being experimented on outside of me. And I am sensing two things. One, there is a lab that is analyzing specimens and creating things. And there's also an organization, a large organization, that is conducting experiments But what I sensed isn't just that. What I'm sensing about the larger organization that I am sensing is that they are conducting experiments or test studies, and the individuals that are in this project there was release forms or consent forms or something like that that was done for every individual that is a part of this. However, a majority of these consents are fraudulent. There's a good chunk of these forms that consent was given by a family member or a loved one, either a parent, a legal guardian, or a husband. However, these consents were signature forgeries, as well as not all of it was under drugs, but the words are, I can't think of the word. There are individuals that, some of these individuals, parents and spouses, they were able, or they got consent or created consent due to acts of enslavement in the spirit realm. I am not sure how to explain it to you because I am describing a multitude of people. However, these acts didn't translate into the same behavior for everyone. Because this has been going back. I sensed this from before I even entered this country, and I came here in 1989. This goes past the 80s, may go into 60s or earlier. I'm not 100%. I'm sensing that it was before my birth, way before my birth, that this happened, that this has been going on, and it needs to stop because it's going to result in the disintegration of the body form of the United States. Some of these individuals that are participating in the funding process, I don't see how that happened, but their hands, they are in bed is what I sense. They're in spiritual and financial bed with the individuals who are managing, directing, or funding this group that also participates in fundings within the United States. And so there's a connection there. There's also connection between the government, the United States government, this larger organization that's doing the experiments, and also the bloodline council of 13, which is one of the original cults in this realm. The cult has been found guilty of cosmic treason, abuse of divination, abuse of power, crimes against children, crimes against um, ill individuals, incest, eco-possession. This list of things that they are portal violations. I would rather not go into detail, but extreme portal violation, portal in the cosmos, as well as physical body portals, as well as earth body portals. And the U.S. government also is listed in court cases in regards to that in the Supreme Courts of Heaven, which is why I bring you that information. I'm not telling you this to incite any fear in you, because that's not what I'm about. I feel as though you should know. When you are being accused of something, you should know. When you are placed in any court hearing, you should know. Just like I have discovered for over a year now that there is a court case where I am listed in, and I have no clue worldly about it, because no one has brought that to my attention, yet the Supreme Courts has let me know, spirits have let me know. The fact that judges are aware and they are intentionally not bringing information to me is quite messed up. Do on to others as you would have be done onto you. This sums up the people and our law. So your behavior is going to bite you, which is why I'm bringing it to you. The events that took place recently with the Japan earthquakes does in fact relate to the United States, because this was a result of abuse of divination done by individuals that are currently, or were, some I sensed were on our continent, and they are citizens, and they provide a lot of funding for your government. Now, what they are doing to affect the plates on the left, the tectonic plates that on the left side, which are going to cause loss of life on the Japan side, will result in loss of life for you as well. That's very unfortunate, and I don't like talking about that, but I felt like your government needs to know. And part of it, there are things you can do, strengthening your individual relationship with the Supreme Courts of Heaven will make a great impact on what takes place for the United States. So far, I have seen the results of these events culminating to extinction. And this is, like I said, this is the first half of the end of this life path. And what happens in this life path 9 transmutes into the final life path 15, when this planet will come to an end. And that happens on a life path 15, October 26th date, and it will begin around 3 a.m. And the big slap of it will happen between 3 a.m. and 4:20, and it will come to an end by 6 a.m. The events and your reactions to what I'm saying now will affect how that plays out. So far, I've seen 5 extinctions that result. I expect 5 more that'll come to me within the next leg of this life path period. All of them pretty much ends the same way. It is the end of this book. And for some individuals within your government, this is not just your government, but for some of the individuals that are fully aware of what they've been doing, and they've been doing it to assist cults, covens, and to create and transmute worldly wealth, as well as to transfer the personal and spiritual wealth of residents and citizens within the United States, and transferring them to an individual who is spiritually bankrupt, and it is your president, Donald Trump. And those individuals have been found guilty under at least two court cases in the Supreme Courts, and they were given time. Several things have happened where spirits have been talking to them and letting them know that they should speak up, and they have not done so. They have been also being pressured by other individuals that are alive, other politicians, other government workers. I'm sensing several individuals within the FBI, as well as judges who have been, and a couple of politicians who have been intimidating them. And I did actually see on television recently, probably within the last 3 weeks, where it was a female politician who was trying to tell them not to speak up, and a comment was given to me that is for individuals who have chosen not to speak up. This message was sent to me, and it was sent to several readers and seers as well, and I was told it applies to several situations and several beings. So this is for you. This is for the individuals who know they're guilty within your government, okay? The forgiveness window of opportunity has closed. The sentences for individuals, groups, gangs, cults, covens, and divination abusers is here. Creator divine collectors, and gods you lied to in prayers are coming for you. Yeah, I don't like having to tell you that, but I have sensed that outside of this Loosh farm, because that's what we're in, we are on the planet called Earth. It is not the original Earth. This planet is known as Gaia. That is her name. Gaia is a prison body form. We are in the Chronos Loosh farm, and outside of it there are close to 250 million gods waiting to collect.